Hey guys, so today I'm going to be looking at something is very wrong here, gut feeling. So yeah, let's just get right into the video. Freshman year of college, September 2012, barely a week in. My dad comes to visit me on campus unexpectedly. We text pretty frequently, but I wasn't expecting an actual in-person visit from family until a month in, since campus was an hour and a half from home. He seems pretty excited and tells me that he found my high school class ring, which I thought I lost towards the start of summer. It was a shade too large for my ring finger, which was how I lost it in the first place, so I decide to put it in my drawer for safekeeping. He stops me though and tells me he's taking it back with him if I don't wear it. It fits pretty well on my middle finger instead, so I roll with it, but something about the wording worries me. Bad feeling number 1. As mentioned, we texted frequently while he was working, and he was telling me all of the following week about a charity bike ride he was participating in on Friday morning. He was really excited about the whole thing. He'd been getting in shape for it and everything. Friday afternoon rolls around, and I text him to ask how he did. Never get a response. Something about this. Again, it worries me, but I brush it off. Maybe he was really tired. He probably fell asleep already. He'll text me tomorrow. Bad feeling number 2. Next day, my uncle and cousin drive up to visit. I've been close with a cousin for years and he wanted to visit me on campus, so this didn't surprise me that much, though I figured he would have called. Something seemed off though, like he was hiding something. And at the end of the day, my uncle said that my mum wanted me to go home with them as there's a surprise at home for me. Again, something was off in his voice when he said it. Bad feelings number 3 and 4. When I get home, I find my mother weeping at the kitchen table. My brother is locked into his room, shared with me, so I slept on the couch that night. My sister is practically catatonic in her room, and even the dog looks depressed. Dad's dead. He suffered a heart attack during the bike ride, veered off course, fell off his bike. No one found him until it was too late. He died alone and in pain. I still haven't taken that ring off. Oh, why did the uncle say there's a surprise at home? Why would he word it like that? Someone dies and you're like, there's a surprise at home. That's such weird wording, honestly. Like, surprises are supposed to be something positive, you know, like not something negative. Oh, that is so sad. When I was 19, I was walking home at midnight from a tram stop and I got the feeling I should pretend I was on the phone. A minute after doing so, a car pulls up next to me on the empty road. It's 4 guys all leering at me. The one in the passenger side starts saying things like, "How about we take you for a good time?" And his tone is predatory. I try to keep it cool because I didn't want to look frightened, to encourage them that I am a prey, and start telling my friend there's a group of guys in a car harassing me and describing the car. I hear the driver say to his mate something about my conversation on the phone, and then they take off. I ran home fast, now ready on my phone should they change their mind and come back. A couple of months later, I hear on the news that in my area there was a group picking up girls and assaulting them. The description matched the car and the guys in it that followed me that night. I was actually always taught to pretend to be on my phone or like call and talk to your friend when you're walking home alone, especially at night, because it's less likely someone would actually do something to you if they know that you're talking to someone. That means that someone knows that something happened to you and they'll call the police. I'm saying less likely because you never know who's out there and they probably might not even care if you're on the phone or not, so be careful. Before my husband and I were married with good jobs, we were young and poor and didn't care where we lived. We rented out a bad little house behind the landlord's house that was clearly a shed poorly transformed into a small studio space. At the time, I worked late nights and my husband worked mornings, so I would sleep till around 12 and work all night. The landlord was this bald old man with a heavy Russian accent. He was kind of odd but seemed nice. So was his wife. He'd made odd comments and invite me to his house to FaceTime with his friends in Russia. Why would he ask his tenant to FaceTime with his friends? What? One time I complained the chipmunks were crawling into the roof. Asked to patch it up better and he said, "Bah, no need, I take care." Weird, he made me feel uneasy but seemed kind to us. When we first moved in, I kept waking up feeling uneasy when I should have been exhausted. I'd feel nervous and get up, check the doors, check closets, etc. One week, my husband went away to visit his father and I was alone and literally felt like I was constantly being watched. The bedroom window was back in the yard and it was heavily wooded. I'd hear crunching of leaves and footsteps all the time. My husband said I was being paranoid because I was alone, and I thought so too. Oh no, don't tell me it's a landlord. But then that same week my husband was away, I offered to watch my friend's dog. So I get home from work around 2 a.m. and get to sleep around 3 to 4 a.m. I wake up around 8 to 9 a.m. to the dog barking and growling like a madman. Now, because the space was similar to a studio, we had no doors or anything besides the bathroom. I spring up and see the landlord literally in the living room, hand on the front door just frozen. He was caught off guard by the dog, and I yelled, "What the heck are you doing?" I thought the house was on fire or something, and I know the front door was locked. I always locked it. He quickly apologized and walked out. When I shook from my sleepy days, I realized maybe this wasn't a one-time thing. I took a shower, dressed, and walked up to the house. Landlord's car wasn't in the driveway, but his wife was home. I told her what happened and asked why landlord would use the keys to go in the house without giving me notice. She was nonchalant about it and replied, "It's his house. He can do what he wants. He likes to check on things from time to time." Privacy please, like they're paying to live there, okay? You can't just go in there for no reason. I flipped out on her. Clearly this was happening often, and the eerie feeling I was getting, I'm 10,000% sure he was literally coming in the house, watching me sleep, completely invading my privacy when he knew I was alone and asleep. We noped out of there as soon as we could. He actually tried to take us to small claims court for breaking the lease, but I had already reported him to the police and found out the space we were renting wasn't even up to code or on the books to be rented. Oh my gosh. That's so scary. Man, imagine renting a place and the landlord just goes into the house and checks on you and just watches you sleep. Oh no. No, 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 no. When I was 15, I hung out with some friends after school and got a ride home that night. No one had been home all day, so there were no lights on inside or out. The friend that drove me home didn't stick around to see if I made it in. Oh, what? How dare that friend? So as I'm starting to make my way up the walkway to the front door, I sense someone waiting to meet me there. I calmly stop after taking a couple of steps and say, "Nope," loud enough for the potential criminal to hear me. Then briskly turn around and walk swiftly down the street, cut through a neighbor's backyard to get to the next street over, make my way to the nearest payphone, dial the police and tell them I think there's someone trying to rob the house. I get back when a police officer arrives and he shines his flashlight around the door and sees footprints in the snow leading from around the house. He follows those and sees they are around the entire house. There was in fact someone waiting for me to open the door that night. I laugh at the thought of their surprise to have some teenage girl acknowledge them from a distance and tell them not today. That is terrifying. Wait, why was no one home? Even at night, no one was home? But seriously, that friend should have waited. Okay? You have to make sure your friend makes it in the house safely before you leave, dude. Come on. I was on the way to a weekend in the Cape with my girlfriend when my stepdad called me. He never calls. He hates technology. He avoids email, calling, anything other than face-to-face communication at all costs. My girlfriend didn't get the same gut feeling seeing that he was calling, so she was confused when I answered my phone while driving. My mom had been diagnosed with lung cancer just short of 3 years prior, was in the hospital, and he calmly asked if we were available. We immediately turned the car to their home. My girlfriend kept saying we didn't know enough to get scared or to react yet. Maybe it would all be okay. Saying anything she could to keep me sane on the 3-hour car ride. Maybe she was remaining positive. Maybe she truly believed it would be okay. But I knew it was too far gone. She passed about 2 hours after I arrived. Oh no. Even with all their girlfriend's comfort, they just knew that, you know, it was time. I woke up one morning and saw that I was late for school. I got up and on the way I'm debating if I should take a shortcut to get there earlier and decided against it. Now as I'm walking along, there was a man who was sitting on a chair near the sidewalk. He stopped me and asked if I was late for school, and he essentially started a conversation with me. Now, I was close to school, so I figured spending a few minutes before my class started wouldn't be a big deal. As this man keeps talking, he starts suggesting that I enter his house because he's got an Xbox One and a PS4 in there, and that he wanted to split screen with someone else. I rejected the offer and he kept trying to persuade me to enter his house. This guy's a creep. This guy then gets in front of me, essentially blocking off the sidewalk, and starts asking why I don't want to enter his house. Because you're a stranger, that's why. Jeez. I gave him a bad reason and said I needed to get going. At this point, I'm thinking I have to get out of there because this guy is giving me the creeps and I don't know what he's capable of. I decided to just run off right then and there. At the end of the school day, I'm walking past the same place with a group of friends, and outside of this guy's house are a bunch of police officers and him sitting on the curb with his wrist cuffed. I feel like I dodged something that day. You sure did. You sure did. That guy was a creep, okay? Seriously. An obvious creep as well. Luring kids in with games? How dare he? Once at a party, I was about to kiss this girl, but my spider senses tingled. I took a few steps back and she was like, what the, before throwing up. So glad I dodged that. Oh, jeez. I mean, how did the girl not know first? Like, how did he know before she knew, you know? She was like, what, why would you move away? I was about to kiss you. Ugh. Well, that's it for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Tell me in the comments down below what your thoughts are. And as always, thanks for watching. Hope you guys liked it. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye!